Good morning everybody and welcome back to my channel. Okay, so today is part 2 of building the bamboo gazebo, and first I gotta clean off this deck. I gotta get all the furniture off, everything off, because I gotta use my ladder to like move all the way across. Last time I did the gazebo I left some stuff on my porch and it was kind of annoying going around everything with the ladder. So this time, clean slate, take everything off so I can move a lot faster putting the roof up. So that's what we're gonna do today. And if you guys don't know what I'm working on, I'll go ahead and link part 1 of this video down below. What I'm doing though is I'm building a bamboo gazebo. I'm rebuilding it because my other one fell down during a storm, had some issues, so I rebuilt this one differently using a different kind of base structure, and this one hopefully is a lot stronger, and yeah, it's a better version of the old one. So if you guys want to see how I do this, go ahead and stay tuned. Okay, so the deck is all cleared off. It is ready for me to bring my ladder out and start the roof, but that's going to be a different day because I gotta go to work. So that's it for what I'm going to do today, and I will check back in with you guys when I start the roof in a couple days. Okay guys, today is the morning where I'm going to work on the roof. And I'm sorry if it is loud out here, if you can hear like the sound of lawnmowers in the distance. If it is too loud when I go to edit this, you will just see me talking and I will voice this over. So yeah, we're going to start on the roof of the gazebo now. So first thing you're gonna need is a friend. This is my friend. So this is what's going to hold one end of the poles while I'm working on the other end while we get them on, because these are really long poles. These are like over 20 feet, so yeah, so there's nothing really too complicated about this. The first ones, I'm literally just putting one this way on both ends, and then we're going to talk about the extra supports that are going to go in the center. Okay, so if you notice right in the center, there's like, it kind of like droops a little from the weight of the bamboo, and also it's not totally hardened yet, so it is still very flexible. It will become more stiff as it hardens, but we want it to make sure that it dries out straight. So what we're gonna do is create a support beam right in the center using those really big pots right there. We're gonna put kind of very similar to our 4 columns, but we're going to be doing it weighted down inside that big pot right there. So that's what we're going to do, but first I'm going to secure both ends with the twine and the zip ties. Okay, and if you're concerned that it doesn't look like there's enough twine on those corners, that's just like the first layer, because as we put more beams up, we're going to be twining more and more and more, so it's going to have a lot of security on there when we're totally done. So the next step is I want to support that long beam in the center. So I'm going to use my big pot right here. This is actually an old metal like milk tin. It was my grandmother's. So what I'm going to do is, this is actually already filled with dirt, but I'm going to dump all the dirt out, and we're going to be putting our bamboo columns down inside of this and then filling it with dirt. So that's going to be our weight. since on this side of the gazebo, obviously we just have concrete. We don't have dirt to dig down into to weigh this down. So we're going to be using this as our weights for the center column. Let's get this dirt out. These things are so heavy. Okay, so now what I want to do is kind of find where I want to center that. Okay, so right about here is close to the center. I think I want to put it right here. This is not the side of the door that opens currently, but I mean eventually, I don't know, someday I guess it could if we switch the doors, but so I'm gonna go ahead and put this here, because if I put it here, it will be in the way if we ever do need to get out this way. So what I'm gonna do now is I have another thick pole cut. This is obviously taller than we need it to be, but I need it to be taller so I can cut it exactly to the height we need. So I'm going to put this down into my pot, and we're going to be adding more bamboo poles to this. This is just the first one that's going to sit directly under it. Now what I want to do is I'm going to fill this with dirt to secure it. Then I'm going to get up on my ladder, lock that off a little bit above where the pole is sagging now, because I want it to be lifted up, because over time obviously gravity's going to take effect and pull it down more, so I want it to be raised up a little in the center so that it just gives it a better chance for the future of keeping it from sagging like it is now. Okay, so my old gazebo, the design was just like this. I had it just sitting up there, and then I secured it a lot with twine and zip ties and tape. The new one is going to be better because I'm going to do the same Lincoln log type pattern like this. So now that I've got that sitting on there, I'm going to put my 4 other bamboo columns all around it, sandwiching it so that it cannot move off of this main pole. And then this will also be where I connect a cross beam to go across the gazebo to support the weight of the roof. So we're gonna get our 4 bamboo poles and sandwich this one right between them. I almost totally forgot that I need 6 poles around this, not 4, because otherwise my 2 tall ones get smushed together when I go to tie them. Can't believe I forgot about that. Alrighty, so I'm going to insert this between those 2 tall ones so that they do not squish together and they stay apart, so that I have a section to slide my bamboo pole into. Okay, so this is how we have it secured up here. We've got it all tied off. We've got our 6 bamboo poles, just like the other columns. And so the way this is gonna work is, this is my back beam, And then I'm going to have a beam going this way, crossways, like across. That's gonna slide right in between these two. Now this is nice and straight and supported all the way down. Okay, so now that I have all of the columns built and in this pot, I'm going to fill the rest up with dirt. I only did dirt up to about like here when I first put that first pole in, because I wanted to pour the dirt around this after I have it in to help make it more secure and buried in there. Okay, so now I'm going to put my long pole on these two columns, and then I'm going to build my support structure right across from that one, but this one is going to go in the ground because we're close enough to the edge of the concrete so we can just go straight into the ground just like we did with those columns. So this support structure will be identical to those. So you might not be able to tell on camera, but this pole is definitely sagging down. Like it's here and it should be like there. So that's where our support column comes in. We're gonna put it right about here, right in line with the one back there, dig it straight into the ground. And then eventually I'm actually going to add another support column further down that way, just, you know, for durability. So that's the next step. Hello, it is once again another day. This is taking a while, huh? Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do 2 more support columns and then we can finally move on to the roof. Okay, all of the support beams are finally done. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in total supporting the structure. So finally we can work on the roof. Yeah, I've got a big mess of bamboo leaves to clean up. Okay, so I have all of my beams loosely secured with zip ties. I'm gonna go back in with my twine and make like the final bind, the final knot to secure it all. But as I'm here and I'm thinking about the weight of the beams, and they're holding good, but I want it to be really, really secure. So I think I'm gonna add 2 more support beams. I know I keep going back to adding more support beams as it goes along, but you know, I'm improving it, I'm making it better. So I want to add a support beam in the center of the 2 center beams that have the least amount of support. So I'm gonna go cut all of my bamboo and we're gonna make those next. Okay, so let's take a minute to talk about where we're at. So I have finished putting all of the beams on the roof, and then I have zip tied all the joints and then put my twine. The zip tie is just to kind of pull things tight. The twine is what's really holding it together. So the beams up here, I put the horizontal ones on first and then the vertical ones on afterwards, because I want to keep the effect of this being at an angle to keep the rain rolling off. So if I were to put the vertical beams on first, they would be underneath, so the water would be pooling, going horizontally, if you get what I mean, instead of it going this way, which is the way that the angle is, so it's going to run downwards. Now, we are in a dry season right now. We typically only get about 2 inches of rain in November, so I'm not too worried about the rain at this point. Obviously you can see these are very big squares in the top of the roof. During the summer when we get like torrential downpours of rain, this might not be enough support to keep the water going in the right direction. So later on in the year I will be adding probably crisscross really thin bamboo beams to just make sure the water continues to run off properly. But for right now, for the fall and the winter, this is fine because this is enough support and it's going to keep the tarp perfectly tight because I have so many beams. So for now, this is good. The final step will literally just be to clean up all my debris that I have down below. Oh, also, I leveled off the tops of these columns. Some were a little bit too tall and wonky, so I just took my saw and just leveled them off so that nothing is poking up through the tarp. The tarp that I'm going to be putting on actually isn't in the best condition. It's the old tarp, the one that was on my previous bamboo gazebo when it collapsed. So it's got a few tears here and there, but it's just temporary. I eventually want to get a different one, but for right now, I mean, it's still good in good enough condition to use, so I'll probably keep that one through the winter, and then when I take that off, that's when I will finish my further supports for the rain, getting ready for spring and all that. And I'll make a video on that when I further reinforce this. So for right now, what I need to do next is literally just clean up all my debris down below. Clip any extra strings I have hanging or zip ties that have little ends there, and then I can put the tarp back on. So yeah, I like hanging out up here, it's kind of cool. And also, if you're wondering what this weird glove thing is about, I smashed my thumb in the door like 2 days ago, so I've got it like bandaged and splinted under here. It's not broken, it's just kind of messed up. So yeah, that's what this little contraption's about. But you know what? If I can build a gazebo with only these 4 fingers and my other 5, anyone can. Okay, so here's my tarp, and in the past I have put these up many different ways. I have just like shoved little bits up at a time. I've used like a pole to like move it across. I've folded it and like tossed it up there. But this time I think I'm going to actually attach it to a bamboo pole, roll it up like a carpet, then I can just put the whole pole on top and unroll it. So I'm gonna try that this time, and hopefully that's a simpler way of doing this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zip tie the tarp to the pole and roll it up. Okay, so now I have my tarp on my long piece of bamboo rolled up like a carpet, and I have it zip tied to keep it together. So the idea is I'm going to flop it up there, cut the zip ties, and then unroll it all the way across. So let's hope this goes okay. So this actually turned out really interesting and unintentional. Remember that pole that I zip tied to the center of the tarp when I rolled it up? I actually ended up, after I unrolled the tarp totally, just attaching that pole to my structure because I had no vertical pole here because I wanted to turn this into like almost like a trellis area to grow vines because I knew this tarp is not big enough for this new area that I built. I knew it was a little bit smaller, so I knew that it wasn't going to reach all the way, so I wanted to make this whole area like a trellis, but I ended up just attaching the pole that was rolled up in the tarp to the structure just for extra stability, and it worked really well. It really was able to hold the tarp really tight. Okay, so obviously we need to adjust this area. I have about 1.5 feet of space where this tarp did not reach, which I knew it would be too small because this was for my old gazebo and it kind of folded over my old gazebo, so I didn't think it was going to be quite the right size. But for now, until I get one that's the exact size, it'll do just fine. So I'm just going to leave this open, but I will probably weave some kind of like netting, and I might grow vines like all along this area here. I think that could look really cool. Hey guys, so it has been a few weeks since I finished the gazebo, and now I'm going to show you guys what it looks like all completed and some things that I probably need to improve on. So you can see we've got all the support columns. This one in the center by the garden table. So this is like walking into the gazebo. As you can see, there's a ton of space. I've already got like my table back here and all the plants. I've got, the lawnmower back there, a workbench, a ladder. This is my seed starting table here. Ignore all this. We're actually going to be fencing in this entire gazebo area and making it like a catio so our cat can come outside. So that's going to be a project in another video. But yeah, so this is how the roof came out and everything. And do you guys remember how I said that November, the driest month of the year? Well, guess what? We've had so much rain, and you see this one little pocket here, and that pocket, and there's a little bit in that one over there, has been holding water. Now, it does look like a large amount of water, but it has been pouring rain, like pouring for 24 hours. So that's the only thing that is holding water, are those two. And I knew that these would probably hold water because I want to do X's in here eventually before like our really rainy season comes, but for now I'm really pleased that those are the only ones that are holding water. So I've just been dumping them out and like catching my water in there just so I can save the rainwater. But yeah, so let's talk about the tarp. The tarp obviously is not long enough for the full structure that I built. I knew that going into this because this was the tarp from my old gazebo, but I was okay with that because I actually wanted to experiment a little with how I want to do this. So I haven't totally decided. You can see I have it tied to the ends with strings to keep it nice and taut. And this I always knew also was going to be too short going this way. This I intentionally wanted though because I want to create like a trellis and grow vines up and over so that this little end patch here is kind of like a natural end cap, and then some rain will come through it and I can put any pots that I want to get natural rainfall along this line to kind of create like a waterfall cascading effect. But this, I think eventually I want to get a tarp that's wide enough, but I'm not sure because maybe I want to do the vines all along this way too. I haven't totally decided on that. And I hung these cute little lights just all around. At night it really lights up the space, so it makes it usable like at night too, that we can come out here. So because our neighborhood is really dark, like we don't have any street lights immediately near us, so we're quite dark here. Yeah, what else? Support beams, yeah, they're good, they're sturdy. I actually like having them like right here and over there. At first I thought it was going to be annoying to like have like an area that was like cut off that you couldn't walk through, but it's actually so great. So when I built these, I left certain little knobs intentionally because eventually I'm going to use these to hang stuff. So I can hang tools on them, I could hang little wind chime decorations. So yeah, I just love it. I tied all of the roof together with zip ties and strings. I'm going to probably cut the excess of the zip tie off because there's no point in that, but I kind of like the look of all the little strings hanging down. Just aesthetically, I think it looks kind of cool, kind of, you know, like a jungle oasis. So yeah, as you can see, there's just, I mean, this is all tons of space I have now that is shaded. Okay, let's talk about the outside because I don't know if I talked about this as I was building it. So if you come over here is where you can see it. I left these beams longer. Like that one's really long. That one needs to be lopped off so that they're all even. But I left them longer intentionally because I eventually want to do like a hanging plant or a wind chime, maybe like hanging plant, wind chime, like every other pole. I really want this whole thing to be very like utilitarian so that everything not only looks nice, but it also has a use to it. So that's why I left all those poles sticking out. I just need to make them even, but I gotta find my saw first. I misplaced my saw while I was cutting down a big tree over there the other day. You can see all the branches on the ground. So yeah, it's somewhere in the yard I left it. Okay, so I really want to give you guys kind of a really good idea of how like big this really is and like the size of it. So I'm just gonna like walk around using these as like a measurement so you can see just how like deep it goes, how far it goes, and how tall it is. You know, I'm 5'5", so if you imagine how much higher it is in my head, then you'll have a good idea about the height of it. It's really windy today. Yeah, so here is where eventually I'm either gonna put a door in here when I build the catio. So the catio is gonna be like a caged in fence kind of going around, then I'm gonna build a door for it either here or over here is a good place too. This is how steep it is. Obviously it's very tall. I can't even touch the top of it here. Got plenty of space over here with all of the seeds. Got walking space over here. Like the view, like being back by the door. And looking out. Okay guys, so that was the tour of my finished bamboo gazebo. I'm super happy with how it came out. It's such a great space. Like right now we're heading from fall to winter, so it's kind of, you know, today's even a cloudy day, but as the summer comes around, this shaded space is gonna be like such a blessing. So great. Yeah, we're really gonna be utilizing it a lot in the summer, and it gives my little seed started plants a really great covering. It's a nice place to have family out. Like, it's just great overall. So I'm really pleased with it. I am sorry that it took so long to finish this video and get it out. There's a lot going on personally, so yeah, that's not something we're gonna get into in this video, but I just want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for coming along with me as we build the gazebo. And when I do like all those little crisscross patches for the ceiling, when I build the walls for the catio, then I also got a few more ideas. I want to incorporate some bamboo shelves and whatnot out here. I'll document it all, I'll record it, and I will share it with you guys. If you guys have any questions about how I did this, like if I maybe didn't show a step that I did and you're like, hey, when did you do that? I didn't see that on the film. You know, it's very likely I did something and forgot to actually record it, or I didn't actually hit record when I did it and I didn't realize that. So if you guys have any questions about how I built this, please leave them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them if I can. Yeah, so that's it for this video, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a blessed week.